Let's get real here. You're doing all of the things a boyfriend does, but yet you're getting zero of the benefits of being a boyfriend. You know what she's doing? She's keeping her options open while she's collecting boyfriend benefits from you. So you got to stop it, but first you got to spot it. No more being her free therapist. Stop thinking because you're being nice that you're going to win value with her, because it doesn't work that way. So the crucial thing that you have to understand is I'm not telling you to be a asshole. And so it's not like being an asshole and being nice are your only options. Actually, the better option, and this is proven in research, is that women are looking for a kind guy. A kind guy is a person who is going to be comfortable and assertive, making boundaries. He sticks by what he says he's going to do. He is a person who is reliable, people can count on, but yet he still does things from like a good-natured place, but it comes from a genuine place and he has no agenda. So that's a huge difference. A lot of times when you ask someone, well, what's the difference between a kind or a nice man? It's hard to define. So that's the definition, but yet it's very easy to sense it energetically, especially as a woman. Difference between a nice guy and a kind guy. So I need you to understand that difference. So avoid the nice guy trap. It's not sexy, okay? It's an energy. It's an energy that you're giving off. And if you're giving off this like, oh, a yes man, a guy who puts a woman on a pedestal, which means that he puts himself like less than her, if he doesn't seem to have his own opinions or stick to his own boundaries and opinion, he kind of just goes with whatever she says. This is when you see that the guy is a nice guy. And it sounds like that's what you want to be, or everybody wants a nice guy around, but not really. What people want more of is a kind guy. And a kind guy is different, right? He doesn't have that passive energy a nice guy has. He has an energy where he takes action. So that action energy is really sexy. It doesn't mean that you're jumping around like a jumping bean, or that you're like loud and boisterous. Actually, not at all. You can be very quiet and powerful and kind, assertive, but yet compassionate. But you have strong boundaries. You're clear with what you want, what you're looking for. So you would get what you want and you wouldn't go into that friend zone or into that boyfriend experience space, because that would never happen coming from a kind guy energy. This is like an energy that is an inner strength. It's natural. That's why it feels authentic. That's why it feels attractive and sexy. Kind guys are generous without keeping score, but they also are only generous with what they really want to give without having any expectations, which people can feel that as well, especially women. So they're not doing anything because they're silently expecting something in return. And then that's where the nice guy gets frustrated and disappointed when he doesn't get something that he wants. But he never stated it, which is what a kind guy does do. He speaks what he wants, puts his boundaries out there, because when you put your boundaries, you're basically speaking what you want, right? What you won't do or what you are willing to do, up to what point. So boundaries are a positive thing. They're not a negative thing. And kind guys know that. A kind guy will have different opinions, but he'll be respectful about them, not like shove them in your face. Of course, he'll agree with you when it's like genuinely he agrees with you, but he will also respectfully state his opinions, and not from a place where he's trying to convince you or be dominant, but just that's just who he is. And the key thing with kind guys is they treat women as women. Everybody thinks that I'm going to say as equals. And listen, that's what the laws, the courts, the HR paperwork is for, is to make sure that we all have the same legal rights and the same, opportunities. But when it comes to men and women need to be treated like women by men, just like men need to be treated like men by women, not as equals. It doesn't mean that anyone holds a better value than the other, or more of, or one is, dominating over the other. It's more about leadership. It's more about knowing and that a polarity needs to be created in order for there to be attraction. And then after the attraction, in order for it to keep going and working, you have to have the polarity of the female energy and the masculine energy. That is never created with a nice guy. And another key reason why men need to treat women as women, it creates that sexual spark, that attraction, which then, if you have that emotional connection and you have that sexual spark and that emotional connection, now you have that chemistry that people look for. And that can be also, questionable. Some people say, oh, well, too much chemistry is dangerous, whatever. But let's just, for argument's sake, say that this is what we're going after. We need some sort of chemistry and some sort of attraction. And if you can make a woman curious, that is what's basically our sexual attraction, the curiosity to want to know more about you. And then we start wondering, I wonder what he's like, So you want to create that curiosity. You want to create that sexual spark. And you do that when you're being kind and you're in your masculine energy, treating her as a woman. So I know this is going to hurt a few of you out there, but you need to do this reality check. Are you being used? Bottom line, right? If you're in the boyfriend experience, you're definitely being used because your needs are not being met, but her needs are being met. And I'll share a story of a client that I had a coaching call last week. And he's a really intelligent guy. He has a lot of tools, but he fell into this boyfriend experience. That's what made me decide to do this video. And he knew it, but it's like you really have to stop and do a check in your mind. Like, wait a second. Because you don't, like, you see these things individually and you say, no, and you just avoid looking at them. No, do an actual check. How much time did I spend this week texting? How many calls did I take? How many dinners did I pay? How many times was I there to rescue her when she was in distress? And you put it all together and you see how many times she asked me how I was doing? How many times was she actually there for me? Am I getting what I want? And that's okay to say it's something sexual because that's okay, because that is part of the dynamic in a relationship. So if you're kind of getting led on that there may be something there, and because you feel like you're kind of investing as a boyfriend would, but yet you're getting zero benefits, more than likely you're being used. A great way to gauge it is like one-way emotional traffic, what I had just mentioned before, that it feels like you're always the one listening to her stuff, and when you do try to maybe share, she cuts you off and talks about her stuff, or she ends up only talking about you guys if it involves her. And this is a key thing, the relationship illusion. When women are doing this, they're playing that, like giving you enough to give you hope, but yet telling you like, oh no, I'm not ready. So in the particular case with Dave, my client, he was having a situation where she wasn't too young. I asked, well, how old is she? He was like 29. He's 32 or 31, excuse me. And so they're both not young, right? And she told him that she didn't want to date him, like be with him until she graduated from business school or getting a master's, I forget exactly. And I asked him, well, what does that mean? And he's like, yeah, exactly. And I said, well, so wait a second. So she wants you to be like a boyfriend, like taking her out, all of this, but you're not allowed to do anything physical. And the key here was, this was the kicker, this really was ballsy. She wanted him to not date anyone until she graduated so that they could date once she graduated. For me, that was a huge red flag. I'm like, okay, I don't know. What do you think is going on here? Like, be honest. Like, then he said, now that I'm saying it to you, I realize how ridiculous it sounds. A lot of the times you might not share these things with someone because you're kind of embarrassed because you know that it's, or maybe your friends are already kind of making fun of you, like, oh, you're doing all this and that, and you don't, And so that's probably a sign too. If you're like not really disclosing to anybody what's really going on, there's probably something there that go with your gut. You're probably sensing the right thing. Don't fall for the illusion of a relationship in the future, next week, this weekend, later on, whatever it is. Stick to your boundaries. So this is another example from someone else that he was receiving calls really late, 11, 12 o'clock, and about complaints about other men, if not about work, about friends. And again, that falls into, yes, of course, if you're friends, but friends are going to discuss openly who he's dating, who she's dating. It's not like a one-way street. So it wasn't that kind of setup. It was, she was calling, he was hoping that she's going to see him one day because he's so nice, he's reliable, he's always there. Now, it's great for men to be reliable. That's a huge thing for women in terms of, in the world in general, around masculine energy, right? It's that reliable, calm, confident, assertive energy. But this nice guy energy doesn't get you anywhere. She's never going to see that you're so great. And she might even say, oh, you're so amazing. I wish he was like you. Or, oh, I wish we weren't friends because then I would date you. Or she might not even say that, but hint around that you're so great, and you'll take that little crumb and you'll hold it and you'll like keep it and say, oh, well, wait, maybe there's hope. No. Be assertive. And I guarantee you, if there is any kind of hope that you're going to have anything with this woman, the moment that you put and draw the line and put your boundaries and you walk away, you might get a call or a text that's now suddenly gone into the other direction. Because as soon as she senses that energy, like you're like, no, I'm going to put my foot down. I don't allow anybody to treat me that way. And you don't have to say it that way. It has to just be implied by your energy. Like, hey, listen, I know I've been here for this, and that, but you know what? I decided to get back on track with some of the stuff that I'm really working on. So I'm not really around that much. Like, we can talk. I'm available at 5 p.m. for about 15 minutes if you want to chat then, okay? Bye. That's it. You give small windows of availability as a friend or as someone who you're keeping the door open, but you're setting a boundary. One of the qualities of an assertive, compassionate man is that he's able to see things for what they are, right? So you want to be in that masculine energy that attracts women, that doesn't put you in a friend zone or in this boyfriend experience situation. You have to step into your masculine energy. You have to understand that you can be kind and compassionate and assertive, right? That's a really great combination because it's respected, it's coming from a place of this calm confidence, but it's going to get the respect that you deserve. One of the main qualities of these men is that you're able to keep boundaries, let people know what you need, let people know what doesn't work for you, and you do it in such a way that it's just almost like as a matter of fact, like, hey, this is how I operate, this is how it is. I'm more than happy and I really enjoy hanging out with you. But if we're not going to stick to these parameters, which I also honor for you, then that doesn't work for me and I'm not willing to invest my time in that, or in you for that matter. Women will sense this energy from you and will have no other choice than to respect you.